K-Rino Radio. Ha. K-Rino Radio. Ha. Ha. Let's tell them about it. You're listening to K-Rino Radio on 90.1. Who is he? What is he? What does he do? Where is he from? H-Town, where the independent grind was invented. Understand, I'm the property owner, you just a tenant. KPFT is the station and location for the really special guests. Good knowledge and information for the coldest on the air. We making a strong case. If you scared of the truth, then you in the wrong place. Every Friday, 11 o'clock p.m. Central. We cooking the game, serving it up, feeding your mental. You can even call in, dial 713, backdoor with 526 KPFT. We ain't playing with them, we gon' tell it like it is, partner. Out of town, KPFT.org, yeah, we got ya. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now.
Yep. And if you are listening, y'all make sure that y'all contact somebody and you tell them that they need to be doing the same. 90.1 FM in Houston, 89.5 if they're in Galveston, and of course, again, KPFT.org. Y'all are tuned in to K-Rino Radio right here on KPFT. We're glad to be with y'all on this Wednesday night, on this nice, cool Wednesday night. It ain't real cold and it definitely ain't real hot. But we are glad to be here in the presence of each other and in y'all's presence who are listening out there all over the planet, as we said, man. I'm joined, as always, by the team, the crew, the squad, the family, however you want to phrase it out. We are all here in full bloom tonight. Well, you went 1987 on us with the posse. I ain't heard that since since Mix-a-Lot was posse on Broadway. But yeah, my brother from another who y'all just heard, the one and only South Park Coalition OG is in the building. Mr. Murder One, what's going on, Murder?
Hold up, Murder.
Man, he going, man. You must have watched Beat Street or something last night. Yeah, cause you were all in the 80s, man. And where he was on my left, he just shot over to my right. Holding it down, getting everything positioned camera-wise. My brother from another, the one and only CEO of No Regret Media, my brother Keisto was in the building. What's up, Keisto?
This young Key in the place to be with the M to the O to the
O. It's 1980. We are trapped in 1986, man. But it's all good because that was a good year. And to my right, the one and only, the jactress of all trades, riding shotgun as always on these Wednesday nights. Miss Andrea Maria, a.k.a. the Cheetah, is in the building. What's going on, Andrea?
Well, let me take it to the 80s. We headed for self-destruction.
Man, look, man, I don't know what's
Not
going
we, but
on.
y'all.
I don't know what's going on with this 80s theme tonight.
It's 1980.
But, yeah, we wish it was 1980 because with all the stuff that's going on right now in the world, we might need to get in a time machine to go back to 1980.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
And we'll cover a little of that as we wait on our guests to arrive. We have a very special, very distinguished, legendary guest. We're going to be in the House of Legends again tonight, man. And our brother, the Screwed Up Click legend, is on his way, the one and only Lil Keke. He'll be pulling up on us in a second. So we are definitely honored to have him in the building on the way to join us on K-Rino Radio and give us some knowledge, wisdom, and history on his career. But yeah, man, in the meantime, you know, we just been keeping our eyes on what's going on in the world. Of course, there was an attack on Iran in the recent days where Iran's top general, General Soleimani, was killed. And now there's a big uproar going around on both sides from, of course, the Iranian people and the American people, because war is on the horizon, and it's not something that is surprising if you know scripture, if you follow the climate of what's been going on in the world. And of course, us being followers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he's been talking about this for years, that this very, very war was going to spark off, and we are on the brink of what many people would call World War III, or just to be really, really, really direct with it, that war that's described as the War of Armageddon. And with the recent developments of this attack, it makes you again start to question the sanity of the one individual who was sitting in the seat of the presidency and those who are around him, because it was I read the other day where his staff brought into him several options that he could have explored as it relates to how he was going to deal with the Iranian situation. And the final and most drastic option that was presented to him, that was placed on the table, was that he could kill the general. And of course, him being who he is, that's the option he chose.
That was the best option.
It's like, okay, what we gonna do? We're gonna call them and try to talk to them. We're gonna visit them and have a diplomatic discussion, or we just gonna blow them up and kill them. And it's okay. Well, let's door number 3.
Let's hit that drum.
And, it's a testament to, like I say, the mindset of an insane individual who just has no sense of diplomacy, who has no sense of the time and what must be done, and no regard for the other people involved on this planet, and the American people, because the truth of the matter is that this war that's getting ready to jump off is going to affect America in the worst way. It's not going to. War is never a good thing, but this will be the war to end all wars. This will be the war that will alter the face of the United States of America as we've all known it, as we've all grown up to see it, because we're living in that time. We're living in that time, and there are going to be other conditions and situations that spark off unexpectedly that will work against the United States of America. Other countries will join into this war, China, Russia, etc., and it will absolutely cause that domino effect that's going to break the power structure of America, and we won't see this thing the way we used to seeing it. So me having a platform like this, I'm obligated to break it down and teach what I've been taught and what I know.
Is it time to buy a bunker?
Say it again?
Is it time to buy a bunker?
For real?
Well, no, because it's not going to be that kind of war. One thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches is that no foreign country is going to destroy America. It's not going to be a Hiroshima type of situation where they drop a bomb and just blow up America. Now we may see some isolated attacks here and there. We don't know that, but as far as just causing the complete destruction where
boom.
That's not going to happen, because God is preserving America for Himself, and He's going to do that through nature, through His elements. So teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that's who I subscribe to. Now, if you have other theories, that's on you. But it's not going to be that situation. What's going to happen is that troops are going to be sent over to fight in this war, sent overseas, and they're going to go away in the tens and thousands, and they're going to come back in numbers that you could almost count on your hand. That's how detrimental it is.
Isn't that starting already?
Well, they already sending them over there.
Okay.
But I put a post up earlier where I put a post up. You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, all right.
I got it.
I put a post up earlier where I talked about people shouldn't send their children to the armed forces. They just shouldn't do it, because at the end of the day, this is not the time to be sending your children off to fight in this war, because it's not the climate is not set up to where, okay, you can go to the service, make a little money, come back home, and do it. Like it's not. We're not in that kind of day.
Right.
This next go round is gonna be the last for the United States of America, and unfortunately, those who go over there to try to fight in that war, and many of them not having even a knowledge of what it's about. Unfortunately, it's going to be a whole lot of bloodshed and lost life behind this one. And this president, he's specially prepared. He's been specially created and born for this moment to do as the minister said, and that's take America to hell on a rocket ship. So, it's nothing, like I said, it's nothing to be sad about, nothing to be scared about. If many of us complain about this world anyway, this country anyway, and the things that, the injustices that they carry out anyway. So with that being said, we need to just be on the right side of this thing and prepare ourselves to do what we need to be doing. If y'all want to talk about it, the number 713-526-5738. We'll discuss it all the way up until our brother gets here, and then we'll definitely get right into the interview with him, because we want to make sure that we accommodate him for however long he's able to stay with us. But it is what it is. As Murder takes off his sheds his sweater and then gets loose. It ain't that.
It's warm tonight though. Did y'all? Am I tripping? The weather? It got hotter tonight, right? When I walked out, I was like, "What? It's 70 something."
Let me take mine off. Damn.
Okay, everybody getting warm.
What we doing now? So did you hear?
What happened?
One of your long time, I want to say rivals, but adversaries you used to go back and forth with, they have been cut.
I know where you're going.
They've been cut.
Well, let me say this.
Off the radio.
Let me say this before
sir.
I go into that. I can only consider somebody an adversary who I would even start to have the half a belief that they was my equal.
Oh.
So nah, he's not average, but I know what you're talking about. Basically,
Can I get a name? Can y'all name drop?
Oh yeah, this is what we do. We don't sugarcoat.
Okay.
I read too. I don't know. Is that legitimate?
Yeah, it's legitimate since the first of the year.
I was hearing that Mad Hatter and I guess the whole staff. Did they leave or did they get fired?
It's called termination.
It's trickled down from the Tom Jones situation. They wanted youth. So Kiati has his spot now.
Okay.
And Hatter went over to 102 as the program director. Jimbo, he cut it loose.
What?
The young lady, she went tonight. They trying to figure out where your boy, J Mac, he's ghost.
What?
So it's December.
So Hatter is the program director at 102 now?
Yeah, 102.
Well, he always was, wasn't he? Kind of, sort of.
Well, he was
in between.
Well, see, his thing was he didn't like to go in the streets, so Hatter took over DJing for 102, and that's how I think that's kind of saved him on that issue.
Yeah.
But the other DJs had to go to the streets.
So basically, they're going with the youth movement. Over at 97.9.
Oh yeah, they got it now.
Okay.
So Yachty gonna do like a morning show or something?
Oh, he got it. It's done deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, shout out to Kiati, man, because despite all of the other stuff, Kiati was always 100 with me.
Right.
He was always my homie, man, and I saw him as recently as probably about a month ago when I went up there and did ESG's show, and that he always been A1 with me. So congratulations to him. But on another note, people would be surprised to hear me say this.
Let's go.
I'm never a person who rejoices in somebody else losing their livelihood or being removed, anything of that nature. So if he's still under as the program director and he's still with the company, then he's still with the company. So it is what it is. But I wouldn't celebrate nobody losing their job or nothing like that, because we didn't see eye to eye on other things that were not related. But it is what it is. My thing, I learned years ago to not put any kind of faith into commercial radio, into mainstream radio, because those entities are corporate entities, and it's all about money.
Yeah.
It's all about
advertisement,
politics. It's all about who you know and how much you're able to spend. So I never really got into that whole thing of like, well, maybe this. Even when I heard the news, I wouldn't like, well, things may get better. And things might get better, because if Kiati is able to kind of push the envelope a little bit, if he chooses to do that, then things might get better for local artists.
That's what my main thought process was, because I was like, okay, if they're getting rid of the old, coming in with the new, then maybe that might open the door for our brother Trey, stuff to that extent.
Right.
Well, maybe not, because even with Trey's situation is a Radio 1 decision from the top level. It wasn't a situation where, even though it initially started by those guys being the ones to put it out there and basically pitch it to Radio 1 to get him banned, but at the end of the day, it still was about them they would still have to make that decision from the mountaintop in order to bring him back in and give him back a platform like he used to have. So, I wouldn't hold my breath on it, but at the same time, those spots are basically like the presidency of the United States. You no matter who sits in that seat, they're still going to be controlled by the entities that really run.
That sign that check.
Yeah, so I could get the job tomorrow, which I wouldn't, but I could get the job tomorrow. Then they would be trying to dictate to me and say, well, no, you got to play this, you got to play this. So you don't really have any power in that spot. You may reach a level to where you can get some leeway, and you're able to do some things here and there, but you don't have no power in that spot. And that was never my issue in the beginning. Even dealing with guys like Mad Hat and all those guys, I knew what they could do and what they couldn't do. That wasn't my issue. My issue was with how you treated the artists, how you treated local artists, and the arrogance that they would display as it relates to dealing with artists. I knew that you ain't got no juice up in there. Even if you the program director, you ain't got no juice in there to be able to dictate and tell people and say, I'm going to play this, I'm going to play that. Let me see what Ted Green is saying. He said, read it real quick, Judy. What did he say?
He said, I forgot what station it was, but I was in Houston one night. They refused to give a man his request for a K-Rino song. I couldn't believe that. I've been listening to Rino since the 90s, straight up.
Well, wow. You know what? And the thing is, I heard something like that along those lines back in the days, and we'll get more into that, but our guest has arrived. Our esteemed, legendary guest has walked into the building, so we're definitely going to get into it with him, man. I want to give you the formal introduction that you deserve, my brother. First of all, this is a Southern legend. This is a hip-hop legend, an international legend that just walked into the building, man. He is one of the original members of the Screwed Up Clique. He is a pioneer in this city, one of the greatest artists to ever come out of this city, has sold millions of records, man, and has been one of the most influential rappers to ever pick up a pen and then pick up a microphone, man. And I'm just honored to have you in the building tonight, man. So I want to shout out and say thank you and introduce my brother, Lil Keke, in the building, man.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all so much for having me, man. Sorry about that being a little late. I'm on a little rapper time a little bit.
Man, brother, you had no reason to apologize. We're grateful to have you here, man. So how you been feeling, family? I know you've been
great, man. Rubbing around, just still working, blessed, and appreciative and grateful for all the opportunities that I'm still getting.
No doubt, man. But we ain't gonna hold you long. It ain't gonna be long, but it will be strong, man. Okay. Tell us real briefly, man. What was your start in music, man? What got you going? Just made you say, man, this is something I want to do. What lit that flame in you, my brother?
Well, growing up in South Park, I'm from my block is Herschelwood. It's block in the middle of South Park. I went to Jones, and man, just like any other kid, man, in that particular area, growing up, listening to the K-Rinos, to the Dopies, to the Street Militaries, and not just saying that to be cliche, but that really gave us an opportunity to think that we had an opportunity to do it. We grew up listening to Run DMC and different stuff from the West Coast, so that was far-fetched, and but to see a K-Rino, a UGK, Gangsta Nip, all these different people that we kind of went to school with that was older than us, that we looked up to, opening those doors and giving us an opportunity. And then, for Screw to open up the door with me and Pat, and we started with the freestyle thing. So really more just when I grew up, man, the blow them hoes up and prejudice. I grew up around that.
No doubt,
You know
no
what I'm saying?
doubt.
So that gave us the opportunity, man, to feel like we had a chance to be able to do Southern music.
Well, let me talk about what you just mentioned, because you talked about the freestyles at Screw's house, and that's one of the elements that we didn't really explore those elements. Y'all took that and built that and mastered that and made that popular, man, just coming off the dome, making those tapes at Screw's house, man. What were the origins of that, man? How did that whole thing just be born like that?
Well, in my particular neighborhood where I grew up in Herschelwood, a close friend of mine named Steve, he was a barber. He actually used to cut screw hair. So the era of the tape wasn't as big, but when him cutting screw hair, they was already in format of people going over there making tape. I hadn't went over there yet, so I remember Big Steve having a tape in our neighborhood of freestyle, you know, where they just kicking, and it got very popular.
Right.
And me, man, at that time, I'm 15, I'm 16, I was very intrigued, not just intrigued on the freestyle part of it, I was just intrigued on the popularity and the fame and the street fame that Steve was just getting in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So my first time really going to Screw House to kind of do those freestyles and do all that stuff, man, it was just based on a tape that was coming from my neighborhood that I had heard. You know, like, man, Steve tape is real hot. So that's when before I got to Screw House, and what people don't understand, I was real great and doing real well at freestyle because I had been working on it and practicing so long. This was something we did in our neighborhood with little radios that we used to call throwdowns, where we just have them on, and not instrumentals. We'd be rapping on beats with y'all playing on them, or music already playing.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We just rapping, we just freestyling. So people didn't know, man, by the time the mixtape community and the Screw fans had heard me for the first time, I had already kind of been in the motions of it in my neighborhood from a practicing standpoint. That's why we jumped off so fast by the time we hit the Screw House, because we was already in motion with it.
So you had already been through a self-imposed training ground.
Oh, yes, for sure.
To get you ready. So when you stepped in there, it was like, we ready, man.
Yeah, I tell people all the time it was very important. Like, people think that, like, I idolized Fat Pat, man. I remember him having this they supposed to have this trophy that he had from High Rollers as the Freestyle King trophy, man. And I was very intrigued about this trophy and meeting Fat Pat. But a funny story to that is, I never heard a Fat Pat song ever before I met him. Right. See, I was intrigued and by the myth of him. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, of him, man, I had heard nothing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So people always say, man, you know, who's the first person? When I got to Screw House, the first person I heard really on that was somebody from my neighborhood and myself. I didn't hear Fat Pat on Screw House. It was a myth of me hearing about him. So I tell people right now, you can't name a tape. People always say, who made it to Screw House first? You can't really name me a tape that you heard on Fat Pat before me. Wow. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you just knew the myth of us.
It's crazy, man, because I went to school with Pat at Sterling.
And he said,
I knew the myth of Fat Pat after I was out of school. We was all long out of school, and I used to just hear this name, Fat Pat, Fat Pat, Fat Pat. And I was like, man, it's just some other guy that's popping off. I told this story a while back. I went to the skating ring, to the bowling alley over there off South Main back in the day, and it's packed in there. And all these people coming out, man. It's hot and we sweating up in there. And I see Patrick Hawkins coming. That's why I knew Patrick Hawkins sitting in home ec class, beating on the table, class clown and doing that. Yeah. And I'm like, man, you Fat Pat? And he laughing like, yeah. You know, so it was the same with me. It was like this mythical figure that I ended up discovering that I knew all along. Yeah. So it's amazing, man. We're here with the legend. Lil Keke is in the building, the Don himself, man. Let me fast forward up into, when was the time, what happened to make you decide, you know what, I want to start putting this on wax. I feel like I can get out there in industry mode and really make some noise and just come off of the tape thing.
Well, growing up, like I say, man, listening to all those rappers, even before we got into the freestyle concept of it, we was already kind of writing raps. I used to kind of write raps and jot them down a little bit at 15, 16, just things in my head. Yeah. You know, but the freestyle thing kind of took off, so we went to mastering how to do it. So I remember, man, when Screw got ready to do 3 in the morning, people didn't understand that 3 in the Morning was going to be done like a screw tape at first, with everything on it, with the Tupac's, everything that you regularly hear. Well, he couldn't get into that clear. That couldn't get cleared. He couldn't get that clear, so that's how he ended up doing the Point Blanks and the
Mass 187.
All the big time artists.
All the big time artists, they ended up doing it. Well, I remember vividly, man, just asking Screw about getting to do this particular song. I want to do something on that. Screw, please, I want to be in 3 in the Morning. Because in my mind, small as we were, whatever, this was finna be huge in my mind. Like, man, we finna take, this is gonna be the first big Screw tape. That's how I was looking at this. Screw finna actually put out a real tape, man, like UGK, like K-Rino and that. We finna get ready to come out. If Screw coming out, I'm coming out. Okay, so, man, I remember asking. I remember Screw telling me, man, one day he called me. He was like, man, I want you to come over to Maestro's and do this. I'm gonna let you get on this particular song that I got. We're gonna get ready to do it. Well, I was gonna freestyle it. Well, man, in the back of my mind, man, I had this song that was wrote. It was a man, people don't know, man, that Pimp the Pen rap, that was like one of my first raps, and it was a rap that I had been wrote that was stuck in my head. It went to nothing. It wasn't a song. It didn't have a hook on it. It was just a rap. So, man, I went to Maestro house. I never forget, man, Screw and I putting it together, man. And people don't know, Screw slow with everything he do. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just slowing the music down.
Legendary stories, man. You gotta wait. If you want it, you gotta wait.
Slow for real. So he taking his time putting together, man. It took Screw a minute to put 3 in the Morning together, 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. Wow. So we at the end of it, and we get over there, and I never forget, man, Screw just like, man, we just gonna do it how we do it, man. And we came in, and he had the pocket full of stones rolling. And I never forget, man, him with that part, and he just mixed it in. And I'm telling y'all, just how that song is mixed in, and Lil Keke, what's up? From one take, and we went in there, and I came in there with this rap that I had in my head, man, and it was history. I'm draped up and dripped out, and it was history, and it became the first big Screw song, Pimp the Pen, that crossed over. And, man, the rest is history, man. And that song was something, that wasn't a freestyle. That was my first actual wrote verse, Pimp the Pen. That people heard about.
I want to know, how does it feel to be someone who survived the game so long in the music game?
It's just a blessing, you know what I'm saying? Because most of the people that we call fallen soldiers are people that we lost, especially from the SUC. I watched all those people come up with me, come in the door with me. I'm not talking about through. I was there. I made it there in time where I watched every single SUC person come in the door. So to see them all, you know, I seen when Pat came in the door, I seen when Mike D, Big Mo, I was there first. You know what I'm saying? To witness these people come in and make this movement. And most of them didn't see the real accolades that we picked up from it. So
just with that, I'll just piggyback what she just said. When you look at the originals, because you sort of the original, you basically is the original. So when you see Screw pass and you see Pat go, do you ever thought maybe in the back of your mind say, well, now it's my time, I need to take all these people, like all the stuff that we put on Screw, to say, man, you could have got all these boys and put them on, sign them to a record label, and you could have done all of this stuff. Did you ever feel like that might be your thing?
That's not something Screw wanted to do.
It's not.
See, people don't understand, man. Nobody was actually signed to Screw. At the end of the day, it's not one artist that came out of the Screw. Not me, Hawk, not Pat, not Mo, not Mike D, not Poker. None of those, not Lil O, not Zero, not Trey. None. That's not really something that Screw wanted to do.
Screw never had a label then, right?
Screw never had a label. Would he want to eventually do that? Maybe so. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, man, Screw just wanted everybody to be able to individually shine if they wanted
like
to, and whatever backing that he could give to it and stand behind it, he would. I'm the first solo artist of the Screwed Up Clique. Don't Mess with Texas is the first album, the first solo album of the SUC. And it's the blueprint, you know what I'm saying, for how we doing it with our culture. And what ended up happening, the biggest hoax to that album was most of the fan base and the crowd and the mixtape people that we had built up, this big fan base, this big freestyle fan base, they was expecting that album to be in freestyle format, which I think it would have done great. But to hear it in this particular format with the hooks and the beats, and Don't Mess with Texas was our culture, our rap, our freestyle rap put into rap form.
Best title you can ever put on it.
Put it into rap form. And that title was named because when people asked me what was going to be the name of my album, and I told them Don't Mess with Texas, they laughed.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, why you gonna do that? You know, because we was so everybody loved California so much, loved New York, that type of music. I just wanted to give our state an opportunity with not bagging, because it was a particular time where I thought this freestyling and everything that we do, that it wasn't good enough for mainstream. But as we picked up our fan base and we got stronger, I just started to stand behind, man, I'm willing to take this fan base and this type of rap and this culture anywhere. So I named it Don't Mess with Texas in 1997 with the Astro jersey on, and the Astros had thrown up. And wasn't nobody throwing up the H did.
At all. Yeah.
See, I always tell people who throwing up the H right now because of James Harden and the Rockets. And I was throwing up with the H when that wasn't popular.
One thing I remember from just going through it, I remember when Destiny Child first started getting big. I don't know if you ever noticed how much they paid you, man. I mean, they were saying no. I'm like, they in the video doing the South Side. I'm looking, and then I see them every show for the next 3 years. They doing the South Side.
For sure. I remember when I met them, they were kids.
I didn't even know they were from Houston till they were doing the South Side.
Well, see, I'm going to say this because it's like Keke reading off my paper, man. Because I wanted to talk about Don't Mess with Tech. You talk about classic, iconic, groundbreaking albums to come out of the city of Houston. That album, I compare it, and people might look at this in a crazy way. I compare it to Thriller. Michael Jackson put out Thriller in this sense, is that when Thriller came out, every song on Thriller was just like, boom, that's a hit, that's a hit, that's a hit, that's a hit. That's how Don't Mess with Texas was, man. You know, man, we Southside. Bounce and turn. I mean, come on, man.
How a song be so strong like that? Like the South Side, you can play it right now today. Everybody, and it's just
the song.
Timeless classics.
It was times when I wanted to be through with the song.
I figured it.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, it was overwhelming. It was just every deal I was getting, they wanted to remake it. They wanted to redo it, and the song can't be redone.
No,
it can't be redid. The energy, the flow. I've tried to do Southside 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up. You know, and the energy. And the thing is about it, man, it's crazy. The song is, and you know, that's because of social media and the popularity that we have now. The song is bigger than it's ever been.
Come on, man.
Right now.
Come
you know
on,
what I'm saying? Even in 20-something years later. And it's crazy. The last 4 or 5 years, it picked up more steam than ever. You know what I'm saying? And it just...
I remember when you was at your apex, bro. And, I mean, Zero was here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I said that, in my humble opinion, the Mount Rushmore of H-Town, I put him on it. But you are also one of the people I put on, along with Face and along with Screw. And the thing is, you were so popping at that time, man. I mean, everywhere, Lil Keke. And I used to be like, man, this dude, if he had a concert on one block, and any major artist from around the country had a concert directly across the street, Keke gonna get them numbers, bro. You know, and I meant that. I just say that all the time, man, because you established something that was so great. And just, we talking about the songs, but I want to talk about just the lingo that you created, that you respond. When people say Southside, it's going down. It's
Coming down.
H-Time. That's Keke. You know what I'm talking about? You know, all that.
Yeah.
And so many people, we talk about how people emulated Pac when he was doing this thing. People emulated Cube at one time, Face, all these guys. People emulate Lil Keke, the way he talks, the way his delivery and his slangs. What is that like? Is that something you noticed that? But what is that like to have people just on your lingo like that?
You got a lot of...
You created a H-Town language.
You have a lot of...
Yeah, man, I embraced it. You know, like people always ask me, man, I'm the most sampled artist. You know what I'm saying? Like all my samples from Screw tapes and all this. People were trying to see if I want to sue or... Man, I just embraced the moment of it and being grateful of it having something to do with my relevance.
Yeah.
Of still being here, you know what I'm saying? Like I could think about me just fighting or running everybody off who ran off with some of my slang and then not going as far as they want to. You know what I'm saying? I feel, man, the crazy part of it, man, I be responsible for a lot of things I don't even get the credit for.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So I just learned to embrace it and deal with it and keep moving on, man. But I'm from a a trend-setting side of a neighborhood. I mean side of town. And man, I just took that lingo, man, and transformed it over to that music. And I'm still doing slab music to this day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just what we grew up on. And that's the thing, man. I was able to survive. When the highs and the lows came, I just stuck with that.
Yeah.
And stuck with that lingo and stuck with that culture, man. And I just survived with it for so long. Like I tell people right now, man, I sold millions of records, independent. I do different things. I've never done an auto-tune song. Right. Still.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like the youngsters and I get some of it on my albums. I go get them. But me particularly, I've never done it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I just stayed to the culture, stayed true it, and it just, and that won't work for everybody. But I'm good with adapting to time and adapting to what's happening, but I just stayed true.
You gotta be you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things you might have done the best. And when I say that, I mean it like that self-made one.
Yeah.
At that time and point, I think that might have been one of the best CDs that Houston might have slept on. But when I say that, I mean like you merged the old school with the new school perfectly.
Did you hear 782?
I haven't heard it just yet. No.
Oh man, you gonna go
But
crazy.
that first one, I was like, Keke did it perfect because he put his verses in the right way, right at the time when he needed, and then the hooks, he let the young cats do what they needed to do.
Go check out 782. It's even better.
Is it?
It's even better. That's the one I got crit, bun, I got everything on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what self-made is about. Merging the young artists with the OG artists, giving them an opportunity to still be themselves, let them know we can do that music. I've always been able to prosper and keep going when I've adapted to time and mess with the youngsters and let them do their thing. Let them know that, you know, man, just because you do it and I might not do it in my music, that don't mean we can't collaborate and make it happen.
But you didn't make it look goofy. It worked.
Because first of all, I'm not going to do nothing that doesn't appeal to something that I already do.
Right.
I like a lot of it. It's just not a lot of that I put into it. And what I try to show them, most young cats that try to come do music with me, they want to do slab music, some screw hooks and all. I can do that backwards.
Right.
You just do you.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get on that, and then
shows,
I'll invite you to some of what I do. And, man, that's like right now I got the new ABA 5 out.
Okay.
It's all freestyle. I took it back to how we used to do it. But I done it on original beats, man. It made Billboard this week. A freestyle. It's my first freestyle tape ever, you know, make Billboard. And, man, it's just, I felt it was crazy, man. Out of all the music that I'm doing, my new album, Self-Made 3, Me and Power While Working album, this freestyle album, man, I had the most fun doing it. I filmed them all. And it took me back to how we used to do it, and the response to it was overwhelming. Like, everybody just started coming out of the dog houses and under the rug, remembering that's how we used to do it.
Well, because, I mean, you know, when the legend started making his moves, people want to move with him.
Right.
You know, we are here with the legend, Lil Keke, man. If y'all want to get in on the conversation, holler at him real quick. The number is 713-526-5738. Y'all can reach out. I wanted to ask you a couple of quick questions. How are you able to just make the adjustment from just being this young cat in the hood, starting out freestyling, just doing it for the love, and then starting to realize the business side of this thing? What was that like, coming into the light of how this industry operates, getting your money and all that type? Did you take any hits or any L's and had to figure things out along the way like that?
Now you reading my question.
Well,
my bad.
well, you know, man, I didn't even make the transition from being a rapper to an artist to a long time. You know, that's something we can suffer from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was getting so much money as a rapper because I was getting $3,500 a show. I was booked 3-4 times a week, so that'll lose you. You know what I'm saying? In that particular, when you're doing that. So to be honest, man, I started at 19 or 18 getting money, buying cars, jewelry, everything. I didn't really wise up or even figure out everything that I needed to do. I probably was 30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in my 30s before I realized and started making this empire, an asset, not a liability. Now I can live off of it the rest of my life. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But it took me a long time to get that, because the lollipop money that's in your face, which is the shows and the features and all that, it'll blind you from things that you're supposed to get, man. And then when you get old, man, when you get older, you start to realize, like, man, if you owe me 25 cents, I want 25 cents, not 23.
Come on, man.
Not 15, not 18.
Give me what you
You'll
owe
look
me.
over that.
Yeah.
Young, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you
them
got them
2 pennies
chains
add
on.
up over the period of years.
You got
All
them
of it.
chains on. You got them chains on, and you're having fun. The girls everywhere. You staying in nice places, and you missing millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it took me, man. In maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, 6, maybe no more than 7 or 8 is when I really truly took control of my whole complete catalog. I have over 60 albums.
Come on now.
Over 50 something on iTunes. So that's when I took complete control. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I'm now on Don't Mess with Texas Southside. These particular.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, it was years before I did that.
Right.
And I'm, I don't, and I've been rich already. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work towards being wealthy and,
Right.
and raising my family. So you get lost in it fast.
It is
if you don't. So everybody who wake up and come in here talking about they have their shit together, not me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. I didn't have mine together like that. I had to work for a minute to get it, but I've been blessed to still hit, man. I just go by the rule. Whatever meant for you, you're gonna get it in due time.
No doubt.
I got a past question.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, my question was, Keystone was asking you how you collab with the youngsters and the OGs. You did Got to Be a G. You did my boy Charlie Boy. You did Baby. You did Face. So how that went about, man, just to get legends like that to get on that song, and each song is individual concept.
Birdman was we called to get Wayne. He was busy on tour. Birdman heard the song, he loved it, he wanted to get on it.
Okay.
Man, I'm getting on it, man. I ain't gonna charge y'all nothing. I'm getting on it. Get to the video and charge the $15,000 for the video. Now that's Birdman, that's my guy. But you know what I'm saying? He loved the song, he wanted to be on it. And it was just one of them situations. I had just got to deal with Universal. It was just one of them. We ain't gonna tell Birdman no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He want to come do it and do the video. And Wayne, me and him, great, cool. We just didn't get it at the time. So, Baby did it. The Charlie Boy thing was different. Just to be honest, I didn't even know he had done it. We was getting into a lot of stuff with the radio because he was sending in an official remix, and Universal was getting mad about it. Me and him ended up talking it out, man, we good. But I liked it. The song and what he done. Charlie Boy was popping at the time, doing his thing. But I had no idea he done it, so we used to have a kind of a riff going on with it. It wasn't with me, it was the label, and man, who y'all got with this? So that was that. And then Face was just we need to put another vibe on it. The song is going crazy. Let's put an OG on it, and we put Face on it. So at the end of the day, I loved all 3 versions. And it ended up, man, and that song, man, people love that song so much, it became so huge. It's a true story, and it's not a song. When you're a rapper, it's not my most gifted song, like when I'm really getting to show you my hell of a pen skills that I feel like I got. It's just a story, and that song is
It's relatable, man. It touched the heart, man. It's one of those.
It was a true story, so.
I think that some people, man, just make classics without even trying.
Right.
You would you've always been a dude. I don't think you sit down and go, I'm finna write this classic anthem type. I think it just naturally comes out of you, and that's just who you are. Cause you got so many. You got them. What I call them mic holders, where you perform, you just hold the mic out in the whole crowd.
I'm a performer. That's
sing
one
the
thing
song.
about me. I'm a performer, and the thing about it, man, when I make that, what I do is how I'm here and how I was able to get to each part of the game. What I mean by that, from cassettes to CDs to streaming to the whole nine, and how I was able to switch over to streaming, man, because I always done hooks.
Yeah.
If you go, man, like I don't really have a lot of mixtapes without hooks on them.
Right.
Yeah.
I done a lot. I don't really have a lot of mixtapes on. I'm talking about after screw tapes that's on other people's beats. Like I do a lot of original beat. Like out of those 50, 60 CDs that I'm telling you about, maybe 40 of them is real CDs with 12 to 15 songs with real hooks on them.
Right.
I've always done that because hooks pay, and I got catalog music. That's why I'm still performing.
You heard what he said?
I heard
Hooks
it.
pay, and then other people come and grab those hooks.
That's why I'm still
You can write that
performing
down.
Heart of a Hustler. That's why I'm still
There you go.
performing
Hooks.
all these different old songs.
Yeah.
Bounce and turn, because this is timeless music.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
always been in the hooks, and when I
Unbelievable.
done Don't Mess with Texas, man, I just took those SUC freestyles
Yeah.
and I turned them to hooks, man. These sayings, and I just made them words and sayings, and those sayings and the time and that culture lasted. So that's one of my secrets to lasting. I've always done real music.
Right.
Even though I was in the freestyle game, that's why it's so funny. This freestyle tape that I'm doing is probably the second or third time I've done it since in 20-some years.
And that's the funny
always
part.
on ABA.
Was it hard going back to it, or it's just like riding a bike?
Nah, it's just like riding a bike.
Okay.
It's just like riding a bike because as I make music, I'm still kind of entwined with it with myself.
Yeah.
You know, doing it and making, you know, man, like I've never really made a song sitting down. Like I'm always standing on my feet, so I'm always freestyling. I'm a hook person. If you go back and listen to any Keke music, the song kind of sounds, the hook kind of sounds like the beat. I always make hooks first, and then I do this here. So I'm real big on hooks. Hooks pay.
There you go.
I want to know, if you wasn't rapping, this is what we like to ask here. If you wasn't rapping, what would you be doing?
Writing hooks.
If rap didn't exist.
Yeah, if it didn't exist. You ain't had another choice. What it is.
If rap didn't, I'm big on sports. I ain't a big guy, but I'm real big on sports.
Okay.
Played it, baseball, football. So I'm just like anybody else. I'm gonna try that. But I think I would be a writer. Period. I got books coming now. I'm real good from a novelist standpoint. Yeah, Legend Talk is gonna be big. Yeah, I'm real good from a novelist standpoint, like writing and ideas and most of the stuff. Like these ideas and these videos. Like I've never had a rap wrote by me for no one. Yeah. Tupac, you know, I wrote every rap, every hook, everything I've ever said, I wrote it. So I would think I would be good into, you know, I'd be a good novelist or a good writer.
Okay.
No doubt. We're here with the one and only, the legend, Lil Keke. We got a call. It look like we got a legend on the line, looking like. I see his name up there. The Klondike Cat is calling in.
Oh, my God.
I called him up.
What's up, Cat?
Yeah. I'm trying to sit up here and act like he.
Go ahead, Cat. What you got? Oh, cat in the kitchen, man. We done left him on hold too long.
Oh, Lord.
Call back, Cat. Call back.
What is he doing?
I wanted to ask you something real quick too, because you did talk about sports and all that, and I know for a fact, man, that you do a lot with those little league youth football teams and stuff, man. Talk about how you got involved in that, and just the benefit of giving those young people an outlet to do things to keep them out the streets and get them started in the right path. How'd you get involved in that?
Little League is my favorite thing. I love it more than anything. I do it for free. I'm telling you, I love it. I do it 7 days a week. I raise my kids in it. When we were young, man, the truck used to come and get on the back of the truck to go to the park and play football. This was big. Yeah. It wasn't really no saying no to these older cats. When they come through in the truck, we picking up all these boys, and we played in the same white pants that we played in for practice for the game. Wow. We played against older cats who played in shoulder pads and jerseys with blue jeans on. Yeah, I'm telling my age right now.
But that probably say something for your kids' lives.
But see, watch this here. I'm from this era, so when I got older and I started popping and don't miss a tape, I wanted to coach Little League football so bad. Yeah. Well, we were so young and rowdy and so crazy. The older gentlemen and the old cats who had the football team, they would They just wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't let me coach come out. I guess I got gold teeth and we loud. They ain't want me around the kids. I'm about 20, 21, 22 then. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm having money, man. I'm doing my thing. I decided I'm going to buy my own team. Okay. And I go get my first team, which was the Cowboys, and this was my plan. I knew all these people had all these kids and all these different teams. I was like, how I'm going to get the kids and how I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Well, I let all my kids play for free. Okay. I didn't charge anything. Beautiful. I gave them all free helmets, shoulder pads, pants, everything for free. Come on, man. All the old cats were mad. They were hot. Yeah. They were mad. And, you know, I wasn't even trying to ruffle their feathers like that. I'm trying to just really figure out. So, man, listen, man, I charge $9 for the insurance for the kids to pay. The parents ain't pay that either. Okay. So we had a great time. My first year coaching, I went to the Super Bowl. Wow. I had over 200-something kids, 4 different teams. I coached the seniors. We went to the Super Bowl. We lost. I came back the next year, went to a different league, changed the name of my team because when I went to the new league, they had the same team that I was. So I changed my team, spent a whole nother bag of money to change all this equipment, and we won the Super Bowl. Yeah. This was my first year winning. I coached it. I called every player. I assembled a team. I love Little League football.
Is that what the Barack Obama award came in?
And I got the Barack Obama award from Little League football and I didn't expect that, didn't know it was coming or whatever, and it just came. And man, next thing I know, I had been in it 7 or 8 years, raised my kids through it, and I done been to 4 Super Bowls. I won 1, I lost 3, I lost 3.
But talk about the relationships you got from just showing those kids how much you care about them, because K got a saying, what this saying you always say, that they don't
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
And you showed off just from the first 2 years. You just said you showed how much you care.
Man, that is my passion. That's my love. That's my heart, man. I want to get back to it. Now, my baby boy is real. He nice.
Okay.
He 14. He in the 8th grade, getting ready to go to the 9th grade. So when he got in the 7th grade and got the school ball, I kind of laid back because he do a lot of training. He do it, and I kind of just got into him because when he was playing for me was little. I was the owner of the team, the president. I coached, so I was here, man. I'm good here 9 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, and it had overwhelmed me. My family was getting mad when I'm wrapped up with Little League football. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do no albums. I don't want to do nothing. You know, I'm wrapped up. So they was like, man, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. So they made me let it go, but I'm coming back. My kid's big now, and I miss it. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm not doing it, I kind of feel like I'm not got a part of my charity, my give back. I do a lot of charities, but this is my favorite one that I do. And it's just not about the love of the sports, man. These kids out here in this community, some of them didn't eat last night. You know, like it's the game, and we Saturday morning, coach, I ain't eat last night.
Oh, come on.
And,
you give them
know,
hope.
I'm taking kids to some of their first football games they ever seen professional.
Yeah.
You know,
I know how much that means to people.
So it means a lot. You know, I know what it meant to us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I tell people all the time, my first birthday parties and football games was when I was grown. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't something that was expected or we had to have when we was young. Now, so I love that, and that's my and to receive an award for a lifetime achievement award from Barack Obama for that. That's one of my greatest achievements.
Man, y'all see it for what it is, man. We're gonna take these 2 calls, man. We got Cat back on the line. What's going on, Cat?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Kizak. What up,
What's going on, baby?
You know what it is, baby. 100.
Hey, man, they got a real one out there tonight, man.
Silence.
One thing for sure, I remember being late night with Grace, and all he listened to was Key back to back to back. To the point I said, man, you need to go to schoolhouse, man. It's like you in schoolhouse on a daily basis, and man, you know that's kind of where he started from, man. So, you know, man, Key was a lot of inspiration, man, to a lot of these guys, man, coming up like you said, K, with the slang and everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Putting it down his way and shit, and then look where it's reached.
No doubt, man. Appreciate the love, Cat. You know you the legend. We got to get you back up here too, man. Appreciate that call, Cat. You know what it is anytime. I see Mike is on the line. We're going to keep it rolling because we got about 10 more minutes. Go ahead, Mike.
Yo, what's up, man? This is Ice Mike.
Ice Mike, the legend.
Say, man, K-Rino, you my favorite artist of all time. And Lil Keke, man, listen, right now I'm in Fort Stockton, Texas. I've been here for a minute, but in New Orleans, Southside, that control things for like, you got to play that a few times every night, as well as out here. Man, you would be surprised at the love you get from the Mexicans and everything. You'll think they was from you.
Oh, man, I wouldn't be surprised. I love it. Hey, me and the Mexicans, we good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love them. I roll with them hard.
But, you know what I'm saying, man, just an OG, man, who been making moves and out here actually being, I ain't going to say a role model, but, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if that's what you're trying to be, but it sure is inspiring to see cats like y'all holding it up for the independent game. You know what I'm saying? So much love and blessings and continued success to y'all.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, Ice Mike, the legend, the OG. If y'all don't know who that was, man, if y'all remember this, I can't say the word on the app, but y'all remember the song Nasty B by Bust Down. That's who made the beat. Ice Mike produced that track, man.
That was the first
back in the back. We used to jam that back in the Boomerang.
I knew it word for word. Word for word.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, legend. Now, a lot of things popped out, man. I think you were one of the first artists to really transcend, even though you are the man who wrote the South Side, but you signed with Swisher House. And I remember it was a lot of tension behind that back in the day. How was that time, and how did you deal? What went into that decision, number one, and how were you able to navigate through all that tension, and then you ended up being right, because it's like it ain't about no North Side, South Side. It's about bringing the A's together.
Well, it was a lot went into that decision. It was one of the harder decisions of my career to do this, man. But at the time, man, I had a thing that I was going by. I was like, just to be honest, we wasn't where we were supposed to be as
as who? As the city?
As an SUC.
Studio. I got you.
You know, as far as Pat had to die, Screw hadn't died, ESG was, you know, he was kind of incarcerated a little bit. People that know I had a warrant for my arrest, man, running. You know, I was in a bunch of trouble at the time. We were just, from a standpoint of a vibe standpoint of what we done for the culture and our music, our mixtape, we were dying. We wasn't dying, but it wasn't going the way that I felt like it should go. Right. You know, the Swisher House, man. For people that understand, man, was this. When we got the game and got into the real part of the game and started doing independent music, Don't Mess with Texas, Hardest Pits in the Litters, all these different, we kind of put the mixtape game down. You know what I'm saying? The flowing and all that, you know, we just kind of moved on. And this was for different reasons. One reason was we was trying to take the advantage of the opportunity of being real rappers, getting in the real, dropping real music. And the other opportunity, we wasn't eating on it. Yeah. Screw was eating on it, but it's not even a knock like Screw eating, we ain't getting paid. Nobody was thinking about it because this was our partner. We was doing it from that standpoint, but we were, Swisher House came in the game eating from a mixtape standpoint, selling them. They went to Michael Watt's house to do, I never done a demo before. Yeah. I never done a talent show before. Yeah. I came straight from freestyling straight to getting it. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that could be a gift and a curse. Like Beyonce and them went to Star Search and all this. They got booed and all that. We never went through that. We went straight from, I was just freestyling this Screw House. Next thing you know, I was getting $3,000 to sing Pimp and Pin. Next thing you know, get $5,000, you know, to do Southside. So we never did. So this was the thing. They came in the game straight selling the Kappa, Nick, Slim Thug. They came straight in game.
So commercials on their Screw tape.
So okay, yeah. So we didn't come in like that. So watch this. Man, to see the game finally, what I mean by the game is the industry, catching on to a culture that we built.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? That we built from this type of music, to see them flourishing from it wasn't from a hate standpoint. It was just seeing how they were taking off, and it was like
nationally accepted.
They was getting nationally accepted for it, and we were just still getting here locally accepted for it. It's people who you can go talk to in the world about the chopped and screw movement, and they have no idea.
And they think Watts started.
And they think Watts started. So T. Ferris started trying to give me this opportunity. What people don't know, man, let's get this understood. Man, I had a warrant for my arrest. T. Ferris was offering me this opportunity over 6 months to come take this opportunity. I finally took it. I didn't do this deal for $1.
Wow.
Mike Jones was double platinum. Power Wall was platinum. They had plenty of money. I didn't do this deal for $1. Not $1, $10,005. Y'all give me $3. They didn't give me $1. I done it straight for opportunity. I done it straight for Chunk Up the Deuce, straight for I'm a G, straight for Love by a Few, Hated by Men. And if I wouldn't have made that move, that chapter in that era of my life wouldn't have, and it brought me back. I came out of that with a $100,000 attorney tab that I was able to pay, get my life back, straight, do everything I need to do. And that opportunity, Power Wall taught me professionalism about shaking hands, kissing babies, staying to the last fan. Power Wall, man, was a guy who was platinum, man. That
he loved the hell out of you.
He loved the hell out of you. He loved me to death.
Yeah.
It could be 15,000 people in here, and I wasn't from there. If 15,000 want to autograph a picture, he's going to do all 15,000.
That's right.
That's what Power Wall going to do.
That's right.
And I learned that from him in different things, professionalism. So that era of, and the one thing that made me make that decision more than anything is I knew that I had the talent to uphold it. I know everybody ain't going to like this move, but this music, this I'm a G, this Chunk Up the Deuce, this Love by a Few, I'm going to kill it. And I'm going to get an opportunity to bring us back. And at least before this era ends of this type of music, at least I'm going to reestablish who we are, put Keke, put SUC back on the map. Man, I tell people one of my biggest secrets, go to the Swish House era, the Swish House movement. And if you can go through those tapes and those music and find one song or one part of that tape where I'm not representing SUC and representing the Southside and putting us where we were supposed to be, I give you $1,000.
I tell you like this, just the concrete, I think it's like a whole 360 that turned around. Because honestly, some could say that when it came to those first original screw tapes, that's where the North and the South sort of got that disconnect. But for you being, not nobody else, but for you being that person that could say, I'm a bridge this gap because ESG was doing it as best as he possibly could.
ESG went and done an album with Slim. Nobody said nothing. Right. Trey went and done an album with Rap A Lot. Nobody said nothing. Exactly. Zero went and done an album with Rap A Lot. Nobody said anything. When I went and done it,
it means more.
Hey, somebody told me that, and I respected them. I won't say their name, but somebody told me that because they was getting that mad, and I had to get this particular person on the phone. I didn't feel like I owed them an explanation, but they were friends with Screw, and they just wanted an explanation about it. We're talking about it, so I'm explaining everything that I went through, and we came out good. And they felt like, man, you know what? I understand where you come from. This move, you have family, you had to do what you need to do. But man, he straight told me. I ran that scenario down to him. I said, man, hey man. Trey went and done an album with Rap A Lot. Zero, ESG got Chris Ward done stuff with Slim. That boy say, ain't none of them Keke though.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Whoa. And I was like, whoa.
But look at this. We gotta shut down, y'all.
I was like, well, that's big. But it worked out for everybody though.
Hey, before you go any further, this is how you bring 2 years in.
It's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years.
No, this our 2-year anniversary of K-Rino Radio.
Oh man, I didn't even know.
Whoever would have thought I'd be on the radio, period. That's 2 years, man. But yes, it's a blessing. We'll celebrate that next week for sure, man. But I want to thank my brother, man, the OG, the legend himself, for blessing us with his presence, man, and all of the history, all of the great wisdom that he has imparted upon us today, brother. And he, you know, I'm so honored to have you. You're welcome here anytime.
Yeah, you're legend. Man, my top, this top 5 over here with me, this top 3. Hey, listen, man, this is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, our people don't know, man. Like, I always tell them, man, listen, we were scared to call K-Rino to do a song. We used to be talking, K-Rino, man.
That Rose
doing a song with no K-Rino.
It's all love,
yeah, we used to say that.
Love,
man, let's get K-Rino. We'll do that.
Shout out to everybody on Facebook. We got to go, y'all. We gotta go. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, man. Much love. We'll see y'all next Wednesday, man.
Peace. Salute.